Good evening, everyone. I'm Sai from Kirin Advisors. I welcome you all to the virtual roadshow of Earkart Limited. So, today we will provide a brief overview of the company and its innovative business model. So, Earkart Limited is a technology driven hearing healthcare solution provider focused on making quality hearing aids and related products affordable and accessible across India. The company manufactures and distributes a comprehensive range of modern hearing aids under its own brands EQFY, Fame, and Radius, along with accessories, educational development kits, and mobility aids for the differently abled. So, from the management side of the company, we have Mr. Rohit Mishra, the promoter and managing director. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Uh,
Thank you for calling me.
yeah, Mr. Rahul Salesha, the executive director.
Hello,
Good
good
evening,
evening.
sir. Yeah, Mr. Ajay Giri, the CFO.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir. And from the merchant banking team, we have Mr. Rajesh Rawat from Sarathi Capital Advisors Private Limited.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir. We also have Mr. Nikhil Tripathi from the management. Good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, now I would like to hand over the floor to Rohit, sir, to tell us the journey of the company. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sai. And good evening, everybody who is watching our virtual IPO meet. My name is Rohit Mishra. I'm the founder at Earkart. We had started Earkart with a very clear vision that we wanted to make hearing services, hearing diagnostic, and hearing aids accessible and affordable to all the citizens of the country. And why this dream came in? Because there are about 60% of Indian population, 60% of Indian population who do not have access to an audiologist. Who is an audiologist? Audiologist is a person who is trained and authorized to diagnose a hearing loss and fit a hearing aid accordingly. There is a shortage in India for audiologists, a very acute shortage. India has just about 6,500 practicing audiologists. And if you look at the size of the ENT fraternity in India, it is about 15,000, which means we have got more ENT doctors in India, but not enough practicing audiologists. And out of the 6,500 I just talked about 2,000 work in the top six cities, and thereby an acute shortage. Now, I'd like to walk you through the presentation of Earkart. And in the meanwhile, the presentation is getting uploaded. I'll talk about myself. I have about 32 years of experience in healthcare. I started with Glaxo Pharmaceuticals, moved on to a company called Allergan, which is into ophthalmology. Most people will recognize Botox as one of the product of Allergan. Then I moved on to a company called Luminous, which is an Israeli-American company, the biggest company in the world for medical lasers. And in 2007, I joined Starkey, which was the biggest American company for hearing aids in America, and the fourth largest at that time. I was the managing director for Starkey in India for about 15 years. And in 2021, since there was no significant difference in the numbers of the people suffering with hearing loss and people getting coverage and accessibility to the hearing services, I decided to do something on my own. And that's when in 2021, October, Earkart came into being. Now, the problem of audiologists not available in the smaller cities, B class and C class cities, has remained like this for last 30 years. So, how do we solve the problem? One, we start producing more audiologists, which is very unusual, which is not in a short sight of the projections. Or we devise something that can make the audiology services available across the country or across the world for that matter. So we came out with a device called Omni. We'll come to Omni, but before that, the first step of the journey in 2021 and 2022 started with manufacturing of hearing aids. So Earkart started manufacturing hearing aids, which were largely economical, which was economy segment hearing aids, and we wanted to get into the government businesses. The government was procuring a lot of hearing aids from different vendors at that point in time. However, government then came out with some of the very stringent parameters to supply hearing aids to them. One was the Bureau of Indian Standards. Second was to have CDSCO. Third was to have ISO 13485, which is a global standard of quality manufacturing. So Earkart worked very hard to get all these three licenses, and then Earkart started to produce the hearing aids. We started to participate in the government businesses, and in the first year we had 95% government business, and as of today we have 69% revenue coming from government. Now, the private business is something that which has better ASPs and which has a future to the scalability. Government business generally remains range bound. So we started with this device which can conduct all diagnostic tests an audiologist can perform with a machine, which means we can perform videoroscopy, we can perform air conduction audiometry, bone conduction audiometry, we can perform tympanometry, we can also perform OAE and other speech audiometry, CC tests, everything can be performed through this device. Now, given the fact that audiologists do not want to or are not comfortable practicing in very small cities because it holds limited amount of growth, we have come out with this solution that Omni, the device is named, can be placed with the ENT doctors in that city. Luckily, I think we are blessed that ENT doctors do practice in smaller cities. Now imagine you are an ENT doctor, you are practicing in a city where there is no audiology services available to you, accessible to you, but your patient needs these audiological services. What do? Then you tell your patient to go to some other city where it is available, which is very cumbersome and not something that anybody would like to have. If I come to you and you are the ENT doctor and I say, Doc, I will provide all the services that you need. It will be provided by an audiologist, but sitting in a remote location. And my device, Omni, will be placed at your center, and you can have continuous, consistent, scientific audiological services to all your patients. And this is what has happened. We have already got 49 SIS clinic, as we call them, shop in shop, which is like Earkart's small shop in the shop of the ENT doctor, or clinic in clinic, you might like to say. So the good thing is that ENT doctor gets access to all the audiological services, and his patients can always benefit by instant reports and instant solutions. We don't have to pay for any rental. We don't have to pay for manpower. We just place our device. An audiologist in our head office will control these devices and produce excellent results. Now, somebody might say, okay, you have done the audiological services, you have done the diagnostic, and now you have found that patient has a hearing loss. What next? What is the solution to it? The good news is our device can also program hearing aids, and all the hearing aids can program by our device, which means any manufacturer's hearing aid. It doesn't have to be mine only. Any manufacturer's hearing aid can be programmed by Omni device, which means it's a full stack end-to-end solution for the audiological services at the ENT clinic. Now, what is the advantage of this? We are going to the cities where there is no audiologist, which means there is no competition, which means we are creating new cities, which also means that every single manufacturer of hearing aid has now got an opportunity to be in the cities and do business in the cities they have never done before. So the journey so far is summarized in the last year's numbers. March 25, we ended the year with about 43.2 crores business with a PAT of about 6.88 crores. Please go to the next slide. The small journey that we have already talked about, we came up in 2021 October. We got a BIS licensed. We got the first order from the government in 2022. Walked into 2023 with significant boost behind us with the ISO certification and CDSCO for Class A and Class B devices. And 24 October, we came up with the launch of ENT model, the shop and shop model. And we started doing this very, very slowly because we were not very sure how a patient would respond to a remote audiometry proposition, especially in a smaller town when patient wants to have one-on-one physical interaction. To the contrary of our belief, it came out to be very successful because on a live video call with the audiologist interacting live, performing all the tests which the patient can appreciate himself or herself, it becomes the match winner. So we really came out with absolutely stunning results and very stunning feedback from the patients that they were happy and satisfied with our remote audiometry model. So having understood that now this model is scalable and as the go-to-market has achieved perfection, we are now ready to scale this model to a very, very big number, which means March 26th, we will be about 210 installations, and March 27, we'll be about 500 installations. And with those 500, Earkart will become the biggest retailer of hearing aids in the country. The next retailer, the biggest retailer, is about 300 stores in the country. And with 500, we will not stop. We want to take it to 1,500 in about 3.5 years by making ourselves the biggest retailer in the Asia Pacific landscape. Next slide, please. This is my team. I'm Rohit Mishra myself. I've got Monica, who has got experience of running a dermatology clinic and cosmetology clinic for 8 years, and she's a whole-time director for the last 4 years at Earkart, who is handling the audiological team. Ajay Giri is a wonderful financial gentleman. He's a chief financial officer. He has also had experience of about 10 years previously in the hearing aid company. Rahul Salesha, the executive director, is a graduate from UK. He also has got about 15, 16 years of experience, 18 years of experience in hearing industry. Mr. Lakshman Shyam Singh is an independent director. He's also a serving scientist in the Hindustan Aeronautic Limited. Mr. Siddharth Pradhan, he's an independent director. He had been the chairman revenue board, and he's also on the board of CDSL. And Mr. Rajkumar Jain, he's an independent director. He was a group CFO for LG Electronics. Next slide, please. So if you can see the business model, pretty simple, sweet, and crisp. We do have one business vertical which supplies into government. The government could be Ministry of Social Justice, it could be Ministry of Education, it could be Ministry of Defense for the armed personnel and their families. The second is private business. In private business, we have got dealers who sell other companies' hearing aids, and also they sell our hearing aids. This number is improving because we have come out with a hearing aid which provides all the features, all the facilities, functionalities, and even the outcome of the sound comparable to our multinational peers. But in terms of pricing, we are a fraction. So compare this with the lack of our multinational peers. Ours is about 25,000. And the biggest model, the service is something that we have been doing, the audiometric service and the diagnostic service, which will be conducted at the ENT place. But look at the shop and shop on the left bottom corner. This is something which is going to drive and define this country, the country which has been struggling with the shortage of audiologists for decades and decades together. This is going to change the picture, and I see this country having the audiological services just like the optical services in about 5 to 6 years. This is going to be one business model which will zoom through the roof. Next slide. This is our product portfolio. We have all kinds of hearing aids that one would like to have. These are economical, these are very useful, and these are affordable. We also have got some of the education material. This is very close to my heart, especially for the kids who have got intellectual disability, who might have a spectrum disorder, who might have speech and hearing disorder. So apart from hearing aids, these kits contain a lot of material which can bring those sensory integrations in the kids and help them live their life independently. Next slide. So we do offer consultancy services. We offer the conversion charges. Franchisee fees is something that we are not going to talk about right now. The audiometry charge is something that I want to highlight. So when a patient goes to an ANT doctor, a typical audiometry test will cost about 1,000 rupees in a smaller cities and 2,000 rupees in a city like Delhi and Bombay. There's a revenue share model. We take 25% of the diagnostic and 75% remains with the ENT doctor. And then comes the hearing aid. When a hearing aid is sold, this charge is reversed. In the sense, we will have 75% and ENT doctors keeps 25% for the space and the services he's allowing us to discharge from his clinic. Next slide. Ajay, for you.
So these are our revenue from different segments. So for last 3 years, 23, 24, and 25. So there is finished goods, traded goods, and services.
Thanks
Next.
again. Next slide, please. I want to highlight this is the star products of the country. We are so proud that we developed this product. We have also applied for the patent in 2022, mid 2022. I want to tell that this is the only product available in the world, not only in India. This is the only product available in the world which can provide all the diagnostic services and managed through a wonderful CRM, which is very interactive on a live video call. This is one product which is going to change the shape and face of the hearing aid industry, not only in India but across the world. And I wanted to highlight that why India is facing a shortage of audiologists. कि 2000 बच्चे पास होते हैं उसके बाद फिर भी शॉर्टेज क्यों है? बिकॉज जैसे जैसे पास होते जाते हैं बहुत सारे इंडिया से बाहर निकल के अमेरिका, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, न्यूजीलैंड, कनाडा, यूके, दुबई नाउडेज यहाँ से निकल जाते हैं. सो द गैप हैज़ बिन ईदर कंसिस्टेंट एंड हैज़ बिन इंक्रीजिंग एवरी नाउ एंड देन. So the advantage of this model is I can keep this model in Africa, I can keep this in America, I can keep this in Australia, and the audiologist can be controlling it from either one other city in Australia or in America or from India also. Imagine something which was not available will now be democratized and it will be available at every place and the person can benefit from this. I wanted to highlight one very significant point. A person who has a hearing loss and is not using a hearing aid for whatever reason, could be affordability, could be accessibility, or the absence of an audiological service. But if somebody is not using hearing aid with the hearing impairment, gradually that person slips into isolation, very high chances of depression and followed by dementia, and very high chances, increased chances of heart attack, heart stroke, brain stroke. These are not my data, these are WHO data. And the simple reason being the person remains under continuous stress because of hearing loss. And the stress leads to all these very, very morbid side effects. Next slide. So, in terms of our manufacturing capabilities, we have a very strong ability to produce these hearing aids. As I've said already, we are in compliance with all the quality standards put by Government of India and also the international standards like ISO 13485, which are critical for operations or the business to be done in countries like Australia and US. We have got capability wherein we can do most hearing aids inside our production center, and the technology and the team that we are using, we are not only using the skilled employees, we are also trying to bring new forms of software which can make the hearing aid sound better all the time, increasingly and incrementally. Next slide. And I want to reiterate here that while we are following some of the most stringent quality control parameters and the licenses, we are not stopping at that. We are also adding few more quality stringent parameters to ensure that every single hearing aid that leaves our office, our production facility, sounds perfect, sound best, and the beneficiary finds the maximum use out of it so that he is able to communicate on day-to-day basis. Next slide. All right, thank you. I think it jumped over a few. Yeah, thank you. So, what we are doing and how we are creating some of the sustainable value for the investors who are considering us as one of the potential opportunity. I want to say that we have a proprietary solution. This is developed in-house and there is nobody else in the world who has it. So we are saying that there's no competition either in India or globally. We are continuously working on our R&D to make sure that not only that the hearing aid sounds well, we are integrating the artificial intelligence into the chip to make it function better. And we are also coming out with the newer gadgets and apps which can make the communication between the patient hearing aid and the app much more aligned with the outcome of the hearing. Now, advanced diagnostic capabilities, we have got almost everything an audiologist would like to do. However, some of the tests which are used very, very occasionally, we are trying to integrate them also, including ABR and ASSR. Now, not only that we are trying to make a very sustainable and scalable business proposition, we're also saying that by creating this healthcare system, we are bridging the gap with the people who do not have access to an audiometer, audiology service, or an audiologist. By doing so, we are not only helping them to live a better life, but also prevent some of the very, very bad things like dementia and depression and isolation and increased chances of heart stroke and brain stroke. So, we are creating a very significant social impact, which is not only limited to health of hearing, but also helping them to prevent some of the bad things that might happen because someone is not getting to use hearing aids. Next slide. So, there's a lot of social impact also. I wanted to talk about this that, compared to last year, I mean, year 23-24, our profitability improved significantly because we really enhanced our operational efficiencies. We optimized our resources. We talked to our suppliers and got much better prices as the numbers were growing. We also started utilizing our manpower capabilities much better. Our installed capacity is about 2.5 lakhs, out of which we are using about lakh and 50,000 every year, which means when we use the installed capacity more, our operational efficiency will go up further. Next slide.
So these are our revenue split between government and private. So as you can see in 23, our government revenue share was 86%, and in 24 it reduced to 75%, and last year it was 69%. So our dependence on government sale is reducing, and we are increasing our private sale. And the third is shop in shop. So shop in shop is the real game changer. You can see that the portion is very less in 25, but that will increase significantly in coming years.
Yeah, that's the core model, and the entire growth of Earkart is driven by the shop and shop model and our ability to penetrate the geographical absence with our presence all through the country. Next slide.
So these
This
are
can,
revenue split between states. So currently we are doing sales in 17 states. Uttar Pradesh is on top, and then Delhi and Maharashtra and other states too.
next slide. This is the global hearing industry. We're talking about how the hearing impairment is spanning across the world. So if you look on the right, it's about 6.6% growth every year for the hearing industry. But when you go to the next slide, you will see India is actually growing at a much higher rate of about 7.8%. Next slide, please. So India is growing about 7.9% on the hearing industry. And mind you, please remember that in India, only 40% of the population has access to the hearing services. 60% doesn't. So with that 40% itself, India is growing at about 7.9%. And as Earkart, I'm very confident that we are going to increase the pie by reaching out to a bigger percent of the 60% who does not have access to audiological service. So we believe that we'll be able to bring it to double digit in about year and a half or two. Next slide. This is an interesting slide. SEBI says that you have to compare yourself with somebody who has got similar product set. There's only one company we could find, and that's OSIL Devices. OSIL Devices is actually listed as a consumer durable company because they have got LED screens and mobile phones. Also as their business model also falls as a true peer, but we don't have LED devices and the phones. In terms of our PAT margins, they are much better because we are only into medical devices and we have got some relatively better selling prices out there. Next slide. So if you're looking at what potential do we have got unlimited capability to expand geographically. We can be in India, we can be in any part of the world, And as of now that we have 49, as of now, I mean, as of March 25, we have got 49 clinics active. We also have about 72 contracts in place. As soon as the IPO is done, we'll be able to deploy these machines in 72 more clinics. And we are extremely hopeful that by March, we should be 210. We have got multi-channel distribution model, like we have got our catalog made on Amazon and Flipkart and other medical device websites. We'll be going online. Offline model is already strong. We have got a dealer network. They buy our hearing aids, and about 30,000 hearing aids is sold per annum to those, and this is growing pretty rapidly. B2G is a government model where we have got very strong collaboration with the government agencies, and we continue to have that. Our focus remains on the innovation and technology, and we continuously spend money on making the product sound better, more useful to the patient and the end user. Next slide. So if you look at our three verticals out here, the total income in last 3 years has grown almost 22%. And if you look at our EBITDA margins, they improved from 5.5 to 22.6%, significant improvement. And the PAT has been from 4.5 to almost 16%, which is probably an exceptionally good in the medical device industry. Most medical device industries will be hovering about 12 to 13%. And I'm proud to say that we still have more headroom to improve this. Next slide. I'll let you have a quick read through.
These are some ratios related to financials.
Next slide.
P&L statement of last 3 years
Yeah,
and the
all
balance
the
sheet.
all the graphs that we just showed you is a detailed description out here. Next slide. This is the issues highlight. We are trying to raise about 49 crore rupees, and the purpose of this entire 49 crore is to make sure that the shop in shop model, the ENT model, becomes a success. And I want to again highlight one thing. The shop in shop model has got three beautiful things. One, my CAC, my customer acquisition cost is zero, which means I'm dependent on the ENT doctors, and we make sure that we install our device to the clinics which have a ready practice of about 40 to 45 a day. That makes our scalability much more better. So my CAC is zero. I don't have manpower requirement there. I'm not paying rentals there. I'm just sharing my revenue for the place and services we are rendering from that ENT clinic. So my model is scalable. From the very first diagnostic test I perform, I start making money. So there cannot be a more lean model. There cannot be a very scalable model better than this. And the intention of this entire IPO is to make sure that we scale and we reach that place faster. And I say this because I want to go to a moat of about 1,500 shops or 1,500 footprints of shop and shop, so that we become the most muscular player in this entire industry who will give best services to the patient. And at the same time, there is nobody who will be able to reach out to that kind of depth. So that's the moat we are looking at. Next slide. So objects of the issue, as you can see, we are going to use about 17 crore for the device that we'll be placing at about 500 places by financial year 27, and also to fund the incremental working capital, which will be required to fund our audiology team, which will be about 100, and the infrastructure and we require to forge the relationship between the ENT clinics and Earkart. Next slide. This is the invest in Earkart. What is the growth potential that we have? First, and as I said, when I go to an ENT practice, I am open to sell. When you sell only your hearing aid, other manufacturers basically become your opponent. In my case, I am selling everybody's hearing aid. If a patient says, "Oh, I want X hearing aid from that company," why not? So I have got certain hearing aids which qualify with the patient demands because I have got ability to program every hearing aid from my device remotely. It can be my hearing aid, it can be a competition hearing aid, it could be some other manufacturer's hearing aid. We can program all of them. We have the proprietary remote audiometry network, Omni. Nobody else has this in the world. We are not only strong at Alimco, we are very strong in the defense sector. Also, company only on the government business back is the fact that Omni is something that deserves to go to every part of the world. We have got very fair growth coming from the private business. People who are purchasing our hearing aid for their practices, and SIS channel is something that we have got multi-line revenue. We have got direct sales, we have got hearing aids, we have diagnostic, we have got hearing aids, and we really do not compromise on any quality standard. We do really focus on the quality standards guidelines laid down by ISO, BIS, and CDSCO. You have just seen we have very, very strong financial trajectory with a medical device company, not only here but globally. We believe we are going to create a very significant social impact for the 60% of the population who do not have access to the hearing services. And by reaching out to them, we are going to make a lot of changes in their life with hearing aids and hearing services. But also by preventing a lot of add on bad things that can happen by not next slide.
Okay, sir.
That's where we
I
are.
think
I'm open for questions now.
yes, sir. I think we can start with the Q&A session. So I request all the participants to post your questions in the comment box. So we have the first question. We have the first question from Mr. Abhinav Verma. He's asking, that is very wide experience, sir. Can you throw some light on how do you leverage this waste experience at Earkart?
I think he wanted to write
Vast
vast experience.
experience
Yes.
at Earkart, yes, sir.
God, I just got scared. Thank you. So, uh, it's about 32 years of experience, and having served as the managing director in my tenure in India, the company went up to become responsible for geographies like Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh. Um, my experience all through these geographies was there is a shortage and there is nobody who's doing anything to meet that or bridge that gap. And it did not look like to sell the idea to the people who will make a decision. And hence, it was a better job to try and do something. So, with the experience, I knew what I wanted. And after leaving the job, it just became easy because I had nothing else to do. So, I started working on Omni.
Thank you for answering that, sir. Next question.
Any other question?
So the next question is from Mr. Devesh Purohit. He's asking what differentiates Earkart from traditional hearing aid providers in India.
Five companies so on the global business market. It's not different for India either. About 98% of the Indian market is also controlled by the same five companies. Now, these, but none world population of India who does not have. The only difference Earcart is doing not only for India but globally.
Okay, thank you for answering that, sir. The next question is from Ms. Dia Patel. She's asking what is the roadmap to scale SIS clinics from 49 to 510 by FY27?
Next question. We have 49. We already have about 72 agreements in place, and as soon as we have the IPO done, we will be running to install those 72. We have India, which have got more than 45 to smaller numbers like 15, 20 OP, looking at practices which have got a larger number so that we can reach out to more number of people and benefit more number of people
So initially
working in
we will
there.
be tying up with Doctor in north, and then we will go to east, west, and at last we will go to
So,
south.
with the list ready, with the short list ready already, we Bangalore and Hyderabad. Yeah.
Thank you
Next
for answering
question,
that,
maybe.
sir. Next question. So next question is from Miss Dhwani Ahuja. She's asking how do your three brands EQ, FY, Fame, and Radius cater to different customer segments?
Okay. So, thank you for asking this question. So, these are three different form factors. So, if you look at fame is largely an analog device family in which when a sound enters, but it does not 30 or 40% depending on how the volume is placed. Um, so that's more analog. So people living in home largely will benefit from this kind of hearing aid. Radius is a programmable hearing aid. So when we say or suppress the sound on each frequency at 500 kilohertz frequency, please amplify the sound by 5 decibel. But for 1000 and 2000, increase it by 10 decibels. But also when there's an excessive sound, there will be a compression mechanism which will kick in so that the patient or the user does not find it very uncomfortable. Also work on a similar principle except that it, but if you look at the price points, um, it caters from frame to equify. It starts from about 6,000 to 49,000.
Thank you for answering that, sir. Next question. Once again, participants, if you have any questions, kindly post your questions in the comment box. Okay, sir. We have. I can see some questions in the chat box. I'll address that. So, Miss Sadhika Narang has some questions. She's asking a significant portion of funds is earmarked for SIS clinic expansion. How soon will this investment start generating returns?
Um, I just said that, the returns are from the day one. So, for example, you are, Sadhika, if you are the ENT doctor, my investment is just on opening and then charge 1,000 rupees, 200 on the first day itself. And depending on the number of hearing impaired patients we see, our experience says out of 10, 4 people will always come with test. 4 people come out with some kind. Out of these 4 people, 2 people will buy hearing aids. 3 months, we call this as a fully installed practice because that's when the conversion starts to happen on its pace. So, to answer your question in 2 parts, one, it starts to make money from the first diagnostic appointment.
Yeah. Next question, please. So the next question is from Mr. Bimal Gandhi. He's asking, with hearing healthcare being a social impact sector, how do you balance profitability with accessibility?
Short question, Mr. Gandhi. Thank you. Now, hearing healthcare and visual impact, for example, चश्मा और कान की मशीन, ये दोनों एक ही सेक्टर के हैं. So if you look at Lenscart model, what they are doing is trying to make a very affordable price. Exactly in the same way, hearing aids come at a very companies do not reach. We'll be the only company who will reach out to some of the places that despite being very big and others have not serving the people who have never been served before. Next question, please.
Next question. So the next question is from Mr. Nikhil. He's asking, Earkart positions itself as a technology-driven healthcare company. Can you elaborate on the role of innovation in your strategy?
Technology-driven company. We are trying to solve a problem that the world has not been able to solve for decades together, and the innovation that we have been able to bring is that we are able to overcome the shortage of the audiologists in our country. We are bridging that gap 100%. But we have built it more installations of Omni. We'll be able to use our technology and innovation to bridge that gap of sharing services to the people who need it. Last many decades been able to bring out and it's not a solution only for India, it's a global solution to the shortage of audiology services. Next.
So the next question is from Mr. Deepak Mehta. He's asking what are the unit economics and payback period per clinic?
After the clinic is fully installed in about 60 to 90 days, as they say, the first conversion cycle is 60 to 90 days. We expect 4 hearing aids to be sold from the clinic. Um, some of the clinics will be selling hearing aids of 30 to 35,000 rupees, whereas some of the clinics will be selling about 15 to 20,000 rupees. But as the unit economics metrics 80,000 rupees, and 30 to 35 diagnostic will also add to 30,000 rupees. So per clinic revenue, we are looking at about 1.1 to 1.2 lakh rupees. Um, to add on to your question, which might come in later, there is a gross margin of about 40 to 50%. I hope this kind of covers. Next question. I'm sorry, hang on. So, Deepak sir, your question is for the payback. So typically speaking, if I am able to from about 1 lakh 10,000, if I am able to keep 70,000 rupees to myself, we are saving about 30,000 rupees per clinic. Now this completes your answer. Thank you, Sai. Next question, please.
Yeah, so the next question is from Mr. Deepak Kulkarni. He's asking with the presence in 22 cities already, what has been the most significant challenge in expanding nationwide?
Thank you, Deepak sir. ये problem होता है सबसे ज़्यादा, and that's why the IPO. But we believe with this decision, we will be going cross-sectionally to the country, making sure that there is a significant impact both doctors add this solution in their practices and no audiological services in their vicinity. And I'll tell you one thing that we have had 5 installations in Delhi. Imagine Delhi has got enormous number of audiologists, but most doctors in Delhi also we are not wanted. We are in my clinic also. So the challenge will not be in finding clinics. The challenge will be to reach out to them as fast as we can. Next question, please.
Next question. So the next question is from Mr. Ajay Gupta. Sir, he's asking government contracts contributed 69% of FY25 revenue. How do you ensure sustainability of this segment?
Okay, thank you, sir. अजय सर, क्या होता है कि गवर्नमेंट सिर्फ मेक इन इंडिया को प्रमोट करती है, BIS और CDSU को प्रमोट करती है. As of today, there are very few players participating in the government tenders, and government does not give 100% contract to any one of the bidders. Government always splits it into L1, L2, L3, provided the L2 and L3 matches the price, which most of the time and all the time match. So some part of in terms of sustainability, since there are very minimal players, very very big sector, very huge amount of orders come from there. But Our intention is not only to depend on government sector, our intention is to make sure that we are able to reach out to all the and hence underutilized in the business.
Thank you for answering that, sir. Next question. The next question is from Mr. Rohan Jha. He's asking, are you exploring strategic partnerships or JVs for faster expansion?
I like your picture. It looks pretty fashionable. Partner with some of the multinationals to give us a private label. The private label will help us to not only have access to the latest technology, but also technologies at a very all the customers or all the patients who might need a hearing aid will have the latest technology in the real time by the strategic partnership that we are trying to forge with one of two of the multinationals. Thank you.
Thank you for answering that, sir. Next question. The next question is from Mr. Lakshman Dubey. He's
Yes,
asking,
please.
with tier 2 and tier 3 cities as your focus, how do you tackle challenges of awareness and affordability?
Um, so we just talked about it, Lakshman sir. Thank you for the question. So tier two and tier three cities, there are two very strong factors which drive a purchase of hearing aids. One when ENT more than 50% of the decision is made. Two, they have also come out with the economic in tier two and tier three cities. This is my experience in last 18, 19 years. It says that two, tier three will mostly buy a hearing aid from 25,000 to 40,000. We are also giving awareness is something that impatient because now we have a captive audience make the awareness. However, there are a lot of online promotions and campaigns being run by us to spread the awareness about the hearing impaired about the hearing impairment, the side effects of hearing right time.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Mr. Tanishq Shinde. He's asking, beyond hearing aids, how important are educational kits, accessories, and mobility aids to your revenue mix?
So I'll start answering that we thought we are going to add a lot of value to the society, but no, not doing mobility aids enough. Accessories and educational kits. They are very close to my heart personally. I'm very closely associated with the well. The educational kits for the children who have got intellectual disability, or we really want to help them to gain their sensory integration and come back to society and be self-dependent and independent from others. So while the business component of these kits are very small, they hold a very high value, say 5 or 6 crores of business. But these special needs children, because not many people in India, till the time this market is more flooded with more and more people, I want to continue doing this. These are not very high profit, but these are very important kits for the children. very high sentiment value to the kids we deal with. Next question, please.
So the next question is from Mr. Shankar Verma. He's asking, the IPO will raise around 4,926 lakh. Can you detail how the proceeds will be allocated?
So the major portion will go to the expansion of our SIS clinic, in which we will be spending 17 CR for capex, and 21 CR will go for the working capital for next 2 years.
Thank you for answering that, sir. Next question. The next question is from Mr. Prathamesh Gandhi. He's saying EBITDA margin improved sharply from 5.6% in FY23 to 26% in FY25. How sustainable are these margins?
Yeah. So EBITDA
I
margin in
think
25 increased as we utilized
we
our
answered this first.
resources
Mr. Thank you for your
optimally.
4 years old
Plus,
on in October. I think we overlapped, Ajay. Sorry for that.
yes, yes. No, no problem. So in
So when I started,
FY25, we
there are
also
a lot of
got,
inefficiencies.
sorry, no, continue, sir.
No, you continue. I'm sorry.
So we utilized our resources optimally in 25, and the expenses were also less than 24. Plus, the material cost and cost of goods sold was reduced from 24 in terms of percentage of revenue. Plus, we also got a good average selling price of the product, so that contributed to the sharp rise in our EBITDA margin, and we are hopeful that that will be continuing in coming financial year also.
Thank you for answering that, sir. Sir, Mr. Nikhil says very detailed live. Thanks and best of luck.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Nikhil.
Nikhil. Thank you.
Thank you, Devesh sir.
Yeah, Mr. Devish says all the best for your IPO. Looking
Thanks,
forward to
Sunny.
the IPO.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Dhoni.
I think we have covered most of the questions here. So thank you everyone and all the best for your IPO, sir.
Thank you so much for giving us an
Thank you so
opportunity.
much.
Thank you, Sai. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
time. Thank
Bye.
you for arranging this call, and thank you all the audience who joined this. Thank you so much.